What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Legit Whiskey Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is the A121. All right, so back to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So I'm a little bit behind because the B521 was just released, but like I said, this is the A121. So for those of you that may or may not know, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof gets released 3 times a year, and they get the A, the B, and the C batch, and they get released. The A gets released in January, the B gets released in May, and the C batch gets released in September. And this is, like I said, the A121. So A, of course, being the first batch of the year, 121 obviously the month and the year. So this one is pretty low proof for being an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This one comes in at 123.6 proof, so 61.8% ABV. And obviously they're all aged 12 years old, non-chill filtered, which is great. And you know, it comes in retailing depending on the area where you're at, and if you can find it. I was lucky enough to find this in my area. You know, it can range anywhere from $65. Retail is usually $65 to $70. I picked this one up for $75, which is still a very good deal. So you know, let's get into this. So when I first opened up this bottle, one of the first things I noticed, like, nothing was coming out of it except like a ton of nuttiness. So now it's been open for a little while. It should be, you know, opened up now, and hopefully I get more on the nose and the palate than, you know, I got your classic bourbon flavors, but it was just a lot of nuttiness coming through, which is from the previous batch, the C920, I didn't get hardly any nuttiness. So, you know, I don't mind the nuttiness, but it was just like overly nutty, and I just wasn't used to that for the barrel proof from the previous batch. But all right, let's get into the color. Being Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, a nice, you know, medium to dark copper color, very nice color. And like most of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs, is sticking pretty good to the glass. But this one being a lower proof, there are some legs coming down slowly. But I remember the previous batch that I had, the C920, it just completely stuck to the glass, but it was a higher proof. But this one still coats the glass pretty well. So all right, so let's get into the nose. So on the nose, that nuttiness definitely still comes through. It's pretty much the foremost, the primary note that you pick up on the palate right away. But also, I'm getting a lot of like apple. It's like a lot of like, it's staying on the lighter side of things. Like, there's just so much like apple in here. It's very fruity, but it's like on a light fruit, instead of like the previous batches where it was a little bit darker. And I'm getting a lot of caramel, a lot of vanilla, a lot of brown sugar. There's some oak coming through, and there's some spice coming through. But the primary note that sticks out to me the most for this batch is the nuttiness and the apple note, and it just stays on the lighter side of things. All right, but more importantly, once again, let's go to the palate. Cheers. Gotta get used to that proof. First pour of the day. But yeah, that apple note definitely comes through on the palate. Like I said, this is staying on the lighter side of things. That nuttiness came through on the palate, but not the way it was coming through on the nose. But you definitely get the nuttiness on the palate as well. There's a good amount of black pepper in here, and there's a good amount of spice. There's also a good amount of oak. It's like a sweeter oak, but there's definitely a good amount of oak in here as well. And the finish, I would say it's a medium to long finish. It lingers on the palate. I feel like it coats the palate, pretty well. But let's try it again. Yeah, this is definitely coming through. There's more coming through now than when I first opened this bottle up. When I first opened it up, like I said, there was just like not much coming through and just a lot of nuttiness. So, but the nose is definitely better from when I first opened it up. So the second time, there's still the apple note. There's still a lot of fruitiness up front, but there's also, it's getting more oakier, and it's getting more, I'm getting more of the pepper and the spice the second time. There's maybe a tiny bit of a bitter dark chocolate note coming through now the second time, but for the most part, it's staying with the light fruits, the pepper, the oak, and the spice. That finish is, it lingers around for a little bit, but I like what this is offering. Before I give you my final thoughts on this, I gotta pull out the Elijah Craig barrel proof. This is the C920. This is last year's batch from September, and this one comes in at 132.8 proof, so 66.4% ABV. So definitely a way higher proof. This one is almost 10 proofs higher, so 10 proof points higher. So definitely a difference in the proof here. When this one first released, it was a lot of people were kind of surprised how low they went with the proof. And the B batch, which just came out this past month in May, was even lower. I believe it was around the 118 proof mark. I haven't tried that one. I've seen some good reviews, but I've seen a lot of bad reviews for it. Like people weren't feeling it, but it all depends on the individual. So whatever, agrees with your palate. So, but I just wanted to compare this A121 to this C920 because from what I remember, there's a lot gone. So I just remember really being like, blown away by this whiskey last year. So I just want to, compare them side by side and see what differences come through, and see if I still like it as much as I did before. All right, so this one is the C920. C920. Yeah, so the C920 on the nose is definitely coming in darker. I'm getting like a cherry, like blackberry type note in there coming through. And this one's more of a brown sugar coming through than the caramel vanilla, but there's still a lot of vanilla coming through on here. As far as the nose with the oak, they're about the same with the amount of oak coming through. But definitely the A121 has way more of that Heaven Hill nuttiness than the C920. But let's try it on the palate. Cheers. Yeah, so this one definitely like lingers way more. It definitely coats the palate more than the A121. I'm guessing because of the higher proof. As far as sweetness, I would say the A121 staying more on the sweeter side than the C920, but there's more dark notes coming through on the C920, and it's I would say the C920 it's completely coating the palate and stays around longer than the A121. But let me try them one more time back to back and give you my final thoughts. Yeah, this one's staying pretty much the same. It's staying on the lighter side of things, but in my opinion, there's like nothing wrong with this whiskey. I feel like it just depends on what you like, but let me get one more of the C920. On the nose, the C920 definitely blows the A121 away. It's just darker and richer notes coming through than the A121 as far as the nose. I would say the C920 is, in my opinion, oakier than the A121. There's more oak coming through. I would say the A121, the oak that comes through is sweeter than the oak that's coming through on the C920. But as far as overall, the C920 definitely blows away the A121. It's just, there's just more there in the bottle. There's just, it offers more, you know, it coats the palate better than the A121. I like those dark notes that are coming through, and I do like the sweetness coming out of the A121, but like I said, it's just that the C920 is offering more. It's a little more complex, and just overall, the overall mouthfeel, I would definitely give it to the C920. But as far as my final score for this A121, I'm gonna give it a B+. If you guys haven't watched my review, I believe I gave the C920 an A+. Like I said, I'm gonna give this one a B+. It just, in my opinion, fell a little short. But like, let's say if no Elijah Craig barrel proof existed and it was just this, you know, A121, I would probably give it an A+. You know, if I didn't know that there were other Elijah Craig barrel proof batches available, I would definitely give this an A+. And just as a standalone whiskey, I would say this is an amazing whiskey, very good. You're not gonna be disappointed if you pick it up. But just knowing and just having this other batch here, the C920, it just, you know, it kind of like pushes it down a little bit. And when you know there's something better and, you know, that agrees with your palate more than the A121. So that's why I'm giving it a B+. But like I said, if there wasn't any other Elijah Craig barrel proofs available, or if I hadn't tried any other ones, definitely I would say, you know, this is an A+ and a must-have, and you have to pick it up. But, you know, there's just other batches available, and in my opinion, the last couple of batches are better than this one. But if you like my content, remember to hit that like button. Remember to subscribe. You can catch me on Instagram at LegitWhiskeyReviews, and I'm gonna go with the C920. Keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.